The Galactic Council had not convened in centuries, but the matter of Earth demanded their full quorum. Beneath the vault of stars, 13 species sat in cold judgment. Humanity, they declared, had become a contagion, a reckless, defiant civilization clawing its way through forbidden sectors, refusing to kneel. The sentence was unanimous: extermination. When a verdict passed, a silent fleet stirred from orbiting docks above the galactic capital. 10,000 assassins assembled, each bred for war, their armor etched with histories of conquest. They were the galaxy's final argument, machines of death from 100 worlds, trained to end empires quietly and completely. To them, humanity was a primitive inconvenience, a feral offshoot of an unremarkable planet. 10,000 to one species. The odds, they believed, were merciful. Their commanders watched the blue world from orbit, noting its scars. Oceans bruised with pollution, continents lit with ceaseless conflict. They have no unity, one assassin hissed through a metallic voice filter. They'll tear themselves apart before we arrive. The fleet moved without hesitation, a black wave crossing the void. A transmission reached Earth 23 minutes before the first drop ships departed hyperspace. The message was clinical, without emotion: surrender your homeworld. You are surrounded. You are obsolete. The signal echoed through Earth's networks, sparking confusion, terror, and disbelief. Governments scrambled, militaries readied, and yet there was no visible panic among those who mattered most. In a bunker buried beneath the Siberian ice, the response was written, encoded, and sent back to the stars. Its message was brief, almost contemptuous: we are sending representatives. When the transmission reached the assassin flagship, the Council of Commanders laughed. 2 life signatures had launched from Earth's surface aboard a small, outdated transport. No armada, no army, only 2 individuals. The scans labeled them Type Unknown, Human Combat Specialists. The fleet's admiral, an insectoid general from the Clor Dominion, found it almost insulting. He rasped. Perhaps they mean to surrender personally. But even the admiral felt a flicker of unease when the files appeared on the command display. Encrypted images, human codename translations rendered into the galactic tongue. Reaper and Ninja. The Reaper's record was the first to unfold. A former soldier, designation erased, augmented beyond military regulation. He had fought in every war humans swore they'd never repeat. A ghost stitched together from cybernetics and regret. Where he walked, silence followed. His mask, white, angular, emotionless, hid the man but revealed his purpose, a symbol meant to terrify. The ninja's dossier contained almost nothing. No birthplace, no augmentation data, no face. Only a symbol, a single black curve, like a blade drawn in ink. The attached translation was imperfect, but its meaning was clear: one who moves unseen. Together, they departed Earth's orbit without escort. The transport's engines burned cold blue as it slipped into void space, heading straight for the heart of the assassin fleet. No escorts pursued them. The fleet's commanders simply waited, amused, confident that whatever spectacle these 2 humans planned would end swiftly. Hours passed. Then the sensors began to fail. First 1 ship, then 3. Minor glitches, dismissed as cosmic interference. A scout frigate went dark without distress signals. Another followed. Within minutes, 5 vessels vanished from radar, their crew counts erased mid-transmission. The admiral's laughter stopped. He ordered the fleet into full defensive formation, scanning for cloaked ships, for weapons, for anything at all. The void gave no answer. Only the transport remained on approach, calm and steady, broadcasting no threat codes, no challenge, only silence. In the darkness between worlds, 2 humans prepared to represent Earth. The Reaper checked his weapon systems, the soft hum of servos whispering like breath. Beside him, the ninja knelt, eyes closed, mind still. Neither spoke. There was no need. They had been chosen not to negotiate, not to plead, but to remind the galaxy why Earth endured. When the transport's lights flickered out, The fleet lost contact entirely. What followed was never recorded. Only the screams that reached the Admiral's bridge before the silence returned. And in that silence, fear began to bloom. The transport drifted through the outer edge of the assassin fleet like a shard of ice through still water. Inside, the Reaper stood braced against the deck, magnetic boots locked, eyes hidden behind the pale mask that had erased his former name. Data streamed across his vision in layered holograms. Enemy layouts, weapon frequencies, probability trees branching and collapsing in microseconds. War had rewritten his nervous system long ago. Fear had been cut out and replaced with function. Across from him, the ninja remained seated, legs folded, hands resting lightly on his knees. He wore no armor beyond layered cloth and concealed plating, no visible weapons except the curved sword bound at his back. His breathing was slow, measured, ancient. Where the Reaper carried humanity's future etched in circuitry, the ninja carried its past in discipline. He had learned patience before the first cities fell. The Reaper broke the silence. We're inside their perimeter. His voice was distorted, stripped of warmth by the mask's filter. 10,000 targets. Command estimates 0 probability of success. The ninja opened his eyes. They reflected no fear, only focus. Command always underestimates resolve, he replied softly. Especially their own. The transport shuddered as external power failed. Lights dimmed, then vanished entirely. Darkness filled the cabin, absolute and deliberate. The Reaper disengaged the safety locks. They're watching for weapons, he said, not for absence. The hull split open soundlessly, peeled apart by controlled charges. Vacuum rushed in, tugging at loose fabric, but both men moved without hesitation. The Reaper launched first, propelled by micro-thrusters, a black silhouette against the stars. The ninja followed a heartbeat later, vanishing as adaptive fibers bent light around him. 2 lives entered the domain of 10,000 killers unannounced. The first assassin patrol never understood what happened. Their sensors registered a surge, then nothing. The Reaper moved like a storm given shape, precise and overwhelming. His weapon spoke in short, lethal bursts, each shot calculated. He did not chase survivors. He eliminated systems, leaving ships blind and drifting. Elsewhere, the ninja worked in silence. He slipped through corridors and sealed chambers, his presence measured in heartbeats that never spiked. Blades flashed once, twice, then disappeared. Doors remained locked. Alarms never sounded. Bodies were found later, collapsed where they stood, expressions frozen between confusion and awe. As reports filtered through the fleet, disbelief turned to dread. Commanders argued, accusing one another of sabotage. Formations tightened, then fractured as orders contradicted themselves. The assassins had trained to hunt prey that fought back. They had never trained to face something that erased them without acknowledgement. The Reaper intercepted the chaos through cracked transmissions. He cataloged panic, rerouted it, amplified it. Fear was a weapon humans understood well. They're breaking faster than expected, he transmitted. They expected numbers, the ninja answered calmly as he dismantled another command node. Not intention. Hours passed. Ships fell silent. Patrols vanished. The fleet, once a unified blade, dulled into scattered fragments, each vessel isolated by suspicion. The assassins had come to end a species. Instead, they found themselves hunted, outpaced by ingenuity, and undone by the very certainty that had once defined them. Confidence collapsed everywhere, rapidly and irreversibly. No command structure survived intact. At the heart of the fleet, the flagship sealed every access point. The Admiral demanded reports that never came. In the darkness beyond the hull, the Reaper and the ninja converged, drawn by instinct. For Earth, the Reaper asked quietly. The ninja nodded once. For survival. Together, they advanced toward the core, leaving behind a lesson the galaxy would not forget. The reckoning had only begun. The fleet was no longer a formation, but a scattering of frightened survivors. Each vessel drifting with engines throttled low, afraid that motion itself might draw attention. The assassins had trained to be unseen, yet now they felt exposed, as though the void itself watched them. Whispers spread through damaged comm channels, fragmented warnings repeating the same impossible truth. Two humans were dismantling them piece by piece. The Reaper moved openly now. Subtlety had served its purpose. He walked through the breached hull of a destroyer, magnetic boots clanging against scorched metal, his presence announced by the steady rhythm of his steps. Every assassin who saw him hesitated, and that hesitation was fatal. His weapon systems adapted with ruthless efficiency, cycling through ammunition profiles tuned to alien biology. He did not hate them. He simply removed obstacles, as methodically as a machine clearing debris. In contrast, the ninja remained a rumor. Survivors spoke of shadows that bent incorrectly, of corridors that felt suddenly crowded despite empty sensors. He struck command figures first, severing hierarchy and leaving confusion in his wake. His movements were economical, almost gentle, as if conserving effort out of respect for the craft. Where the Reaper shattered resistance, the ninja hollowed it out. Attempts at counterattack grew desperate. Psychic operatives screamed as their minds brushed something vast and unyielding within the Reaper's augmented consciousness. Automated kill zones activated too late, tracking ghosts that were already gone. Traps meant for armies closed on empty space. Each failure fed the same realization. The humans were adapting faster than strategy could form. The Reaper paused within a shattered hangar, surrounded by wreckage and cooling bodies. For a fraction of a second, his mask reflected the carnage and memory stirred. He remembered cities reduced to ash, orders given and obeyed, the cost paid by those who never chose war. His jaw tightened. This was why he existed now, not for conquest, but prevention. If terror was the only language the galaxy understood, he would speak it fluently. A signal pulse cut through the static. The ninja had reached the inner ring. Resistance there was concentrated, disciplined, afraid but determined. The Reaper altered course without hesitation. Their paths converged through collapsing corridors and ruptured bulkheads. Two vectors aimed at the same inevitable point. Near the flagship's core, the remaining assassins made their stand. Hundreds gathered, weapons drawn, instincts screaming at them to flee even as pride held them in place. They fired first, filling the chamber with energy and noise. The Reaper walked through the barrage, shields flaring, returning fire with devastating precision. At the same time, the ninja flowed through the chaos, a silent counterpoint to the storm, striking where defenses thinned, turning formations inward upon themselves. The battle was brief and absolute. When it ended, the chamber was quiet except for cooling metal and labored alien breaths, fading into nothing. The Reaper lowered his weapon. The ninja cleaned his blade with a single practice motion. Only one transmission remained active, looping a distress call toward the Galactic Capital. The Reaper accessed it, injecting data, timestamps, casualty counts, tactical failures. Evidence, not threats. They'll understand, he said. They will fear first, the ninja replied. Understanding comes later. They stood together amid the ruins of a fleet that had believed numbers guaranteed victory. Outside, the stars burned on, indifferent and endless. The humans had not finished their task, but the message was already traveling faster than light. Somewhere far away, the galaxy was beginning to listen. Silence followed the destruction of the last assassin vessel, heavy and complete. Where a fleet had once darkened the stars, only debris and drifting wreckage remained. The Reaper stood within the flagship's command chamber, surrounded by inactive consoles and the aftermath of certainty collapsing. His targeting systems powered down one by one, leaving only his own reflection staring back from fractured glass. For the first time since deployment, there were no enemies left to calculate. The ninja moved to the central transmitter, fingers tracing its alien geometry with practice comm. He adjusted its orientation, not to repair it, but to ensure the message would arrive intact. The galaxy deserved clarity. Violence alone was never the lesson. They will hear this, he said quietly, and they will remember. The Reaper nodded. He opened a channel, routing it through every surviving relay the assassins had deployed. His voice carried without distortion, stripped of threat, yet heavy with finality. This operation has concluded. 10,000 were sent. None will return. This outcome was avoidable. He paused, allowing the data package to attach. Records, timelines, decisions made by alien hands. You misjudged us. Do not repeat the error. Across the void, the Galactic Council received the transmission in fragments at first, then in horrifying clarity. Panic spread through chambers built for dominance, not humility. Entire species watched proof of their dead scroll past in endless columns. Humanity was reclassified within minutes, their status rewritten in urgent tones. No longer expendable, no longer weak, a variable too costly to test again. Back aboard the ruined flagship, the Reaper disengaged his mask. The man beneath looked older than his years, eyes lined with exhaustion rather than triumph. He inhaled deeply, as if the air itself were heavier now that the mission was complete. It never ends, he said, more to himself than to his companion. The ninja sheathed his blade. It pauses, he replied. That is enough. They returned to their transport without ceremony. No victory speeches, no celebration. Earth did not need legends carved in stone. It needed distance, time, and the quiet knowledge that extinction had been turned aside once more. As the engines warmed, the Reaper looked back at the graveyard of ships. He felt no satisfaction, only resolve hardening into permanence. The jump carried them home in silence. On Earth, no crowds waited, no banners flew. Their return was logged, classified, and buried beneath layers of routine. Humanity would continue arguing, building, failing, and learning, unaware of how close it had come to ending. That ignorance, the Reaper believed, was worth protecting. Before parting, the ninja placed a hand on the Reaper's shoulder, firm and brief. When they speak of this, he said, they will speak of monsters. Let them, the Reaper answered. Monsters keep the dark away. The ninja turned and vanished into the world, another shadow among billions. The Reaper remained a moment longer, watching the horizon as dawn broke across the planet he had defended. Somewhere beyond the sky, the galaxy adjusted its course, newly cautious, newly afraid. Humanity did not chase the stars that day. It waited.